learning any skill needs to have two major pillars, the mindset shift and the skill set development, right? That according to a survey, about 75% of people in the world have the fear of public speaking. Fear of public speaking has a technical term, and that is glossophobia. The second terminology that I want to talk about is something called ostracism.
How emotion can be a major role.
So a lot of your body language when you're speaking is linked to the emotion that you might have. It's a very big myth that public speaking यानी कि स्टेज पे खड़े होके भाषण देना है, okay? And वैसा नहीं है.
Almas is a co-author of this particular book, which is forwarded by Tapsi Pannu, right?
This is a force of love, and it's an act of service, and it's a culmination of some very, very powerful energies.
Have you ever felt that your voice was trapped inside you, yearning to be heard? Yes, today's episode is about amplifying your voice. Today we are going to discuss and give you some hooks for your public speaking skills. So from having no voice to amplified one, a change maker, a powerful woman, a social activist, Almas Virani is going to be with us on this show. Let's begin. Hi Almas.
Hi Tushar.
Thank you so much for coming over.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Since I was telling the audience about, having no voice to have an amplified version of yourself, so I would like to know about your journey.
So Tushar, it's very interesting. I'm sitting in a show called In a Swank Way, और मेरी कहानी को अगर हम खोल कर देखें तो मेरी कहानी में बचपन में ना स्वांग था, ना स्वैग था, ना स्टाइल था, आवाज़ ही नहीं थी. Okay. I literally had no voice, like you said. I remember my earliest memories were I used to run to the bathroom.
Okay.
And most people run to the bathroom for nature's call, but I used to run because I was running away from rejection, from bullying, from harsh comments, and from judgment. Where did it all come from? You see, I come from a background where society has a certain definition of beautiful, and fair is beautiful. And I wasn't Snow White fair. In fact, I was really tall. I was about 5 feet 8 inches tall when I was in my 8th grade. I had crooked teeth and super thin. I was definitely not society's definition of beautiful, and that kind of played on my mind because I was constantly told कि इसके लिए कोई घोड़े पे बैठ के राजकुमार आने वाला नहीं है. So the idea of a woman needs to have a prince charming on a white horse coming to rescue her was fed into my mind at a very early age. And because my worthiness was linked to that, I felt I wasn't good enough, and therefore I had no voice. Right? And it's really so sad that I used to refrain from playing with kids my age, let alone speaking with them.
I think I can relate to you very much because, of course, with my skin color, not everyone was, friends with me when I was in school. In my early college days, there was always a talk about how I look. Look at your skin color. They used to, call me certain words, which is really bullying, and they will not make a part of their group circle because they were like really good looking and all those stuff. It's really harassing.
Yeah, it was not just harassing, it was torturous.
Yes.
And I remember I used to escape into one corner, and my favorite toy was a blackboard with a box of chalks. And Tushar, who would have imagined that the blackboard would turn into a whiteboard someday? So that's been my story. And I must tell you that this has not happened overnight. बहुत सारा रोल तो कुदरत का रहा है, and the universe has played its role in getting me where I am today and being in service of the work that I do. But it's also been a lot of hard work, a lot of tears, sweat, and a lot of learning. So I decided to invest in myself through the years with a whole lot of coaches, people I could learn from, and a whole lot of practice. So when people say that speakers are born, I say it's a myth, right? Speakers are made. So when people look at me and they say, you're amazing, and I tell them, yeah, right, you don't know the journey behind.
Right.
So today I'm actually able to look at myself in the mirror and say, Mwah, Almas, you're beautiful, and you're amazing, and you have this swank, and authentic swank. तो ये खुद को एक्सेप्ट करने से आया है, खुद को एम्ब्रेस करने से आया है, एंड खुद की आवाज़ को पूरी तरीके से मुकम्मल करने से आया है. So
Very beautifully
that's
said.
been
Yeah.
my story.
I'm really impressed, and I can definitely, connect with you in many manners. And I think it is about mindset that needs to be shift, right?
Yeah.
So can you elaborate more on that aspect?
Right. So I always say that learning any skill needs to have two major pillars, the mindset shift and the skill set development, right? And you're absolutely right. When it comes to speaking, working with a person at a deeper level to bring that mindset change is very important, because we've been used to speaking in a certain manner for all our life.
Right.
And suddenly I tell you to speak in a different way, it's not going to be possible because you're on autopilot mode. Right? Because our tongue is a muscle, and muscle की एक memory होती है, right? And your tongue is used to speaking in a certain manner. So to be able to change that requires some amount of mindset shift. In fact, I would say a lot of work in terms of shifting your mindset. मैंने ये भी notice किया है that depending on the demographic of the individual, their patterns can be very different. So for example, when I deal with much older people, people who've achieved a lot in life, CEOs probably in their 50s, 60s, उनकी childhood upbringing और circumstances बहुत अलग थे. वो बड़ों के सामने बात नहीं करते थे ज़्यादा, राइट? बहुत ज़्यादा रिस्पेक्ट का एक बहुत बड़ा नोशन था. फिर उसके बाद वाला जो जनरेशन है, जो हमारा जनरेशन है, उनके लिए बहुत ज़रूरी था कि वो ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा सीखें, बट उस चक्कर में वो रिबेलियस भी हो गए. तो एक रिबेलियस वॉइस जो है उसको भी कभी कभी उस पर भी वर्क करना पड़ता है, यू नो, व्हेन आई एम वर्किंग विद पीपल. एंड नाउ यू हैव द मिलेनियल्स, यू हैव द जेनजीज, जिनकी मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि एक ऑथेंटिसिटी मिसिंग है इन देयर वॉइस. एंड इफ देयर इज वर्क टू बी डन एट अ माइंडसेट लेवल, आई थिंक दैट जनरेशन नीड्स टू अनलर्न अ लॉट मोर rather than learn.
Yeah, and I think they should be authentic towards what they want to express rather than just having that FOMO and what someone is posting, or just try to be there in that competition, I guess.
Absolutely. माइक होता ना, माइक वो बहुत ही पावरफुल और बहुत ही डेंजरस चीज़ है एट द सेम टाइम. और ये माइक आजकल हर फ़ोन हर घर में गया है. एंड यू सी अ लॉट ऑफ जेनजीज, मिलेनियल्स दैट आर नाउ इन्फ्लुएंसर्स रेजिंग देयर वॉइस. और मैं कहती हूँ बहुत अच्छी बात है, बट अंदर की जो आवाज़ है, अंदर का जो मैसेज है, द वन दैट यू फील ट्रूली अबाउट, that needs to come out rather than what the whole world is doing. So mindset shift, I think, ultimately boils down to me owning my authentic voice. So that is the work that I like to do, is help people go back to their root and find their true voice.
So when we talk about shifting the mindset, so what are the things that you think one should know about?
So Tushar, you'll be surprised to know that according to a survey, about 75% of people in the world have the fear of public speaking.
Yep.
हालांकि हमको पता नहीं है इस बारे में, बट सम पीपल एक्चुअली फियर पब्लिक स्पीकिंग मोर देन दे फियर डेथ. अब इतना ज़्यादा फियर क्यों है, ये कहाँ से आता है? बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं, और यहाँ पे हम एक पूरा मास्टर क्लास कर सकते हैं, बट जस्ट टू मेक इट वेरी सिंपल फॉर द ऑडियंस, मैं 2-3 टर्मिनोलॉजीज समझाना चाहूँगी. द फर्स्ट वन इज़ दिस एंटायर फियर ऑफ पब्लिक स्पीकिंग हैज़ अ टेक्निकल टर्म, एंड दैट इज़ ग्लॉसोफोबिया, राइट? And there's a lot of research that is happening on this subject, and I feel that this fear is growing not by the minute but by the second. With the infusion of social media, the FOMO that we're experiencing, ChatGPT, हम हमारी आवाज़ तो भूल ही गए हैं, and that is why glossophobia is increasing a lot. The second terminology that I want to talk about is something called ostracism. Ostracism is actually seclusion from a society or a tribe. Okay. Now back in the days when we were hunters and we lived in caves, हमारे लिए survival बहुत important होता था. और अगर आपने goof up किया तो शेर आया और आप मर गए. Right? It was survival of the fittest. So there was no opportunity for anyone to goof up. And if you goofed up, then the tribe would not kill you. What they would do is they would seclude you from the tribe. And if you were secluded from the tribe, you could not survive alone. You would eventually die. So goofing up had a very high price to pay. This fear has been passed on to us through archetypes and through generations. The fear of goofing up, the fear of being judged, the fear of making mistakes, because उसकी सज़ा बहुत बड़ी होती थी. So now when we are in front of people talking and somebody makes fun of us, they're judging us, or we goof up, it actually boils down to me feeling that I could be ostracized.
Right. I think it is about, you know, validation, how people will react before we, reach out to them.
Yeah.
And then that fits into your mind, and then automatically you get scared.
Yeah, yeah. So I always tell people that you don't have the fear of public speaking, you have the fear of judgment, you have the fear of criticism, and you have the fear of failure. तो हमारी आवाज़ को दबाया जाता है as kids, right? And how you speak today and the fears that you carry today is a result of a lot that has happened in your childhood,
Right.
for sure. So what we need to realize that there could be some unfinished business in childhood, right? And a lot of my fears could be coming from there.
Okay, so you were just talking about the childhood trauma, right?
Right.
So, how do you identify with the people you work?
Right. So I like to do a lot of deep work with people because I believe that public speaking has got to do a lot with what you're thinking and how you're speaking to yourself, because how you communicate with yourself is a reflection of how you communicate with the world.
Right.
So I like to deep dive and understand what was their childhood like. Did they really have a voice in their family? Was an open conversation and opinion encouraged within the family, right? Did they go through any kind of bullying? Was there any kind of an inferiority complex that was stuck there? Or were they the bullies themselves? So it could be anything. So it's important to deep dive and understand a person's blueprint and story, and you will find that patterns actually lie over there. I'll give you an example. So one of my clients, a very high position, and he kind of struggles at times to speak up in front of authority.
Okay.
Now, when we went back and looked at the reason for that, the reason was he was really scared of his father growing up. And father was his authoritative figure as a child. So now the father is not there in the office, but every time there's authority, he struggles with speaking up.
And Almas, I think it is more to do with the self-expression and about your emotion, how well you have managed your emotions throughout your journey so far, right? So in this, can you tell us like how emotion can be a major role in your public speaking skills?
Good question. Everything's got to do with emotion, right? In fact, the more self-aware I am about my emotions, the more authentically I can speak. Okay, there's more authenticity. लोग in fact emotion से काफ़ी डरते हैं, and I can tell you that the best speakers in the world are those who are vulnerable, who know how to embrace their emotions and speak from a place of power and not from a place of darkness, right? Now, for example, if I feel safe within, I will feel safe, whether I'm speaking to a CEO, to a stakeholder, to an investor, or to a large audience, right? So safety within, how I feel about myself is very important. If I carry a lot of shame and embarrassment as an emotion, that is going to show up. I'm going to be very, very scared. Right? Fear as an emotion, if not controlled, it can actually create a biological response. So butterflies in the stomach, sweaty palms, not being able to speak, stuttering, all of these are bodily effects of emotions. So there was a guy called Charles Darwin who did a lot of work in this area, and he said that emotions are not standalone things, right? They're connected to our body. जब हम sad होते हैं तो आंसू निकलते हैं, tears होते हैं, tears आते हैं. When you're angry, you have cheekbones that become red and your blood pressure increases, which means emotions are connected to your body. So a lot of your body language when you're speaking is linked to the emotion that you might have. So emotions play a very important role. Even when you're excited, you will see that people speak very fast because their heart rate is fast, right? But when somebody is at peace within, when somebody is in joy, when somebody is speaking from a space of love, you will see it in the way they speak. And those are beautiful emotions to have. So I do a lot of work with people to get them to a point where they feel peace, joy, and love when they're communicating. Because it is said that actions speak louder than words, but I say that energy speaks louder than action, louder than words. So if I'm able to balance that energy for a human being, that person is bound to speak more powerfully than anyone else.
Absolutely. I mean, that was really interesting the way you are, explaining how energies are going to help you, like your positive energies in your public speaking. So now we discussed about emotions.
Right.
Let's talk about language. I think humans can express through language.
Absolutely.
And how language can play a very important role in public speaking.
Tushar, I want to say something very critical, and for the audiences listening to this right now, language is only a medium of expression, right, when you're speaking. And this is a very big problem. So, English for some reason is a huge facade in our country. Why? We can speak perfectly even in our own language, right? And India has got so many languages. We're a multilingual country, and still there is so much craze about English. And I tell people that आपकी भाषा ज़रूरी नहीं है, आपका मैसेज ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है, right? I'm sure we all know of examples of people who don't necessarily speak in English, but they are powerful speakers, right? If you were to look at some examples,
yes,
there is definitely our Prime Minister, right, Mr. Modi, and then you have actors like Pankaj Tripathi, you have Nasiruddin Shah, later Irfan Khan. ये बहुत powerful public speaking करते हैं.
Even Bala Saheb Thackeray, for that matter.
Yeah, absolutely. So it may not even be Hindi, it could be
Marathi,
it could be whatever colloquial language, right? But you own your message, that is more important.
Going back to the independence time, I think freedom fighters, they were actually speaking to their audiences in their regional language, and many of them have learned. I mean, if you consider Baba Saheb Ambedkar, Savarkar and all those people, like they have actually reached out to the masses through their local or maybe regional or maybe tribal languages as well.
Right. And I always say this, that focus on the message and not the language. Speak like you talk, not like you write. Right? Because you want to connect with your audience. और भाषा कोई भी हो. I have actually helped people speak, make their presentations with languages in Hindi. मैं खुद बहुत खूबसूरत उर्दू बात करती हूँ, and sometimes I get invited to talk and I speak Hindi, Urdu, English. सुनने में मज़ा आना चाहिए, ऑडियंस को कनेक्ट करना चाहिए. That is more important. भाषा तो कोई भी हो सकती है, बट उसमें अगर प्रेम की भाषा डाल दें तो बहुत मज़ा आता है बात करने में.
Very nicely said. Almas, public speaking is a very broad term.
Right.
I want to understand from your lenses and for our audience to understand who actually needs these skills to be developed.
Right. So first of all, let's understand what is public speaking. It's a very big myth that public speaking यानी कि स्टेज पे खड़े होके भाषण देना है, okay? And वैसा नहीं है. So public speaking is your ability to express or sell any idea, thought, product or service to an audience both on and off stage, whether you're speaking to one person or to a large group of people with or without a mic. Right? So I believe that everything is a stage. Right now you and I are on a stage.
Yes.
Right? When a candidate is sitting in an interview room, he needs to know public speaking. When two families meet, and let's say there's a bride and a groom, probable bride and groom meeting for the first time, they're trying to impress each other, they need public speaking. You go on a date to meet somebody, you need public speaking, right? You're a manager in a firm and you want to get people to do their jobs, you're instructing them, you need better speaking skills over there. You are a business owner, you have a fabulous product, you have a great team, you're adding value to your customers, but you're not able to sell because you can't speak that well. So if you speak better, you sell better. Let's say you're a CEO of a firm and you want to influence people towards a large change that is coming up. If you speak better, you lead better, you influence better. Right? So public speaking has got to do a lot more than the stage and the mic. It is needed on a day-to-day basis. You go to a networking event, you have to introduce yourself, you need public speaking there. Right? You want to actually bring about a change in the world and you're using the camera, you need public speaking there. So it's really a 360-degree approach. You need it everywhere. It is the most important skill that we need, apart from obviously mindfulness and mental well-being. You need better speaking. Most people don't even speak at 20 to 30% of the capacity of their voice. हम सबके पास एक बहुत खूबसूरत आवाज़ है, बट हम उसको यूज़ नहीं करते. अब कई बार मुझे लोग बोलते हैं अलमास तुम्हारी आवाज़ बड़ी सेक्सी है यार, एंड आई से दैट मेहनत लगी है, ये ऐसे नहीं आई है. सो देयर आर वेज for you to actually enhance your voice. Singers कितना सारा वर्कआउट करते हैं, वोकल वर्कआउट करते हैं. आप हिमेश रेशमिया जी को देख लीजिए, तेरा सुरूर से लेके वो जो गाने गा रहे हैं, कुछ सूफी गाने भी गा रहे हैं, there's so much variation in his voice because he's worked on his voice, right? So I help people with their voice, being able to speak fluently Of course, without going into the English language, being able to speak from a deeper space so that there's more confidence.
Okay.
Then there is audience engagement. Audience का attention span बहुत limited है, तुषार, right? Because reels हम roll कर रहे हैं non-stop. So पहले जो audience बैठ के सुनता था एक motivational speech, ऐसा नहीं होता अब। लोग usually non-stop सोच रहे हैं, right? They're thinking about the kids that they have to pick up from school, the email that they have to send, to what they're going to do over the weekend, a million things. तो
20 seconds max.
एग्जैक्टली सो ऑडियंस एंगेजमेंट में बहुत ज़्यादा हुक्स की ज़रूरत है, बहुत ज़्यादा स्टोरी टेलिंग की ज़रूरत है. सो दैट इज़ व्हाट आई कवर. देन देयर इज़ मैसेज. If you had only 30 seconds to make an elevator pitch, how would you structure that? Or if you had to create a signature talk, how would you do that? And this is where I bring in a model called the world-class speaking model, and I have learned this from my guru and mentor, Craig Valentine, who is a world speaking champion.
Oh.
And I use this model to help people craft their messages. And then there is stage. And in the stage piece, I talk about things like body language, humor, standing up in your full power and light, और वहाँ पर deep काम होता है. So VAMP's formula is voice, audience, message and stage, and these are the techniques I sort of go deeper into when I'm working with a person.
I mean, very powerful toolkit, I would say, and
Right.
thanks for sharing with us. So now coming back to the people who are unheard or have no voices, what message you would like to give it to them?
I would like to say that every voice has a pair of ears waiting to listen to it. And if you don't amplify your voice, you're depriving those ears, right? I've struggled a lot with actually getting my voice out, my story out, and I've had to do a lot of deep work within to figure out who I was, what my story was, and I realized that my story, if I was actually able to bring it out in the world, could help so many people. So once you unleash your voice completely, you can create a larger impact in the world. So what are you waiting for here?
Yes.
The world needs your impact. You need to unleash your voice and story.
And I think I'll pick up from your whatever we discussed so far, and I think it is your right, okay, freedom to express yourself, and I think everyone should learn that.
Tushar, I just want to add something there. It's not just our right, but also our duty to express ourselves authentically, because people can learn so much from our own voice.
Yeah, I think we all are waiting for your voices. If you would like to connect with Almaz, please drop in your queries. She will be happy to assist you. If you have any issues, any concerns, of course she will be always there to help you out. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for coming over, and this was really interesting. But we also have one special segment called Swanky POV segment.
Okay.
And I would like you to also address about the change makers. So
Yeah.
let's wait for it. Today we are going to do something different in our Swanky POV segment. Every time we discuss, a lot of people having their journeys or maybe their perspective towards the topic that we choose for the episode. But today, all within one book, Changemaker, and Almaz is the co-author of this particular
Right.
book, which is forwarded by Tapsi Pannu, right?
Right.
Can you just tell us more about this book, please?
So Tushar, first of all, this book is a force of love. It's a force of powerful energies culminating, coming together to create this piece. So when this idea was shared with me by a fellow change maker, saying, Almaz, you should write a book on change makers, I had no idea where I was going to start from. So I reached out to Shweta Samota, who's a co-author of this book, and she is also a book coach and a bestseller of several books, knows the book business. And she said she's in. And within a week, we had Crossword bookstores on board. So they
Oh.
are the publisher. So we had the largest bookstore in the country on board. Of course, the world's largest platform for change, which is change.org, has a community called She Creates Change. And the women featured in this book are from that platform. And we had 11 powerful women whose stories are featured. And as fate would have it, I think when you're in service, you want to do something to bring impact in the world, the universe conspires to make things happen.
Yeah,
And
right.
that is how Tapsi Pannu, who is a change maker in her own right, she was kind enough to lend her voice and forward to the book. We also had Javed Akhtar Saab, Ranveer Brar, RJ Rohini, and Nandita Das, who came together to actually light the lamp and launch this book for us. So yeah, it's been a phenomenal internal and external exercise for me as well, because this book was written when we were in COVID.
Oh.
Right, so it was me exploring myself within and exploring the journeys of all of these women as we brought out the stories in the book.
Interesting, and I could definitely see some of the hashtags written here.
Right.
And it says like living change stories from inspiring Indian women. As I can see, there are different hashtags with different petitions, I would say. So, what is there one thing common in all these?
So the one thing that is common across all of these women is that none of them actually came from an activism background.
Okay.
They were not social activists who decide to start campaigns. They were regular women like me who had a journey, who saw a problem and they said, isko badalna chahiye. They are regular citizens who started a citizens movement on the internet, and they were somewhere struggling with their own story, and therefore they decided to take their own voice, magnify their voice and create change in the world through their stories.
And let's talk about some Batti Jalao.
Right. Tushar, there is hashtag, right? So that kind of points us in the direction that this has got to do something with the internet.
Right.
So one thing that all of these stories have in common is that these women harnessed the power of internet and social media to bring about changes. They started a petition and a campaign on change.org, used social media and brought about these powerful changes. So hashtag Batti Jalao is a personal favorite for me. This story is about Cassandra Nazareth, who is a change maker based in Mumbai. And she does a lot of work with the tribal women in RA Forest.
Okay.
So everybody knows about RA Forest. What people don't know is that there are 20 plus villages in RA, right? And out of those villages, 2 villages did not have electricity.
Okay.
Now,
By
RA,
2020 also.
yes, absolutely. 73 years of independence, no electricity. And this village is situated in the heart of Mumbai. You have the hub mall right outside. And these villages don't have electricity. The kids are actually studying with candles around them. There are leopards that come and pick up the kids.
Oh.
And she looked at this, she couldn't believe her eyes. She started a campaign which is hashtag Batti Jalao.
Okay.
She fought earnestly with the authorities, the municipal authorities, and she made sure that there was batti in those 2 villages. It's a very, very powerful story, and the work that she's done with the tribal women of RA. So that's what this story is about, yeah.
Great. And moving forward to glass half full.
Yeah, so that's a very simple change, and I always say that changes can be very simple but could have huge impact. Garvita Gulati, a very young change maker, I think she was about 14 when she realized that she wanted to do more with her life. What this petition is about is she's asking the National Restaurants Association of India to make it mandatory for restaurants to serve half glass water. Because आप जब restaurant जाते हो, आपको पानी दिया जाता है कि आप पूरा पानी पीते हो.
Yeah, not every time.
Exactly, and that water is wasted. So she has an organization called ywaste.org, and she started this campaign, Half Glass Full, and this is being implemented in Bangalore today. It's a very powerful
thoughtful,
story. Yeah, she's a very young change maker, and she is creating waves with her campaigns.
Okay, the next one is all shades lovely.
Right. So the word lovely reminds me of Fair and Lovely, and that's what this campaign is about. So this campaign was initiated by Chandana Hiran, who had her own story of facing a lot of prejudice because of her own skin color, and we've spoken about that in today's episode. And she actually started a petition online asking Fair and Lovely to remove the word fair.
Yes, glow and lovely, right?
Exactly. It is now different, and that's thanks to Chandana. She does a lot of work in the misogyny space, on the songs that Bollywood produces with showcasing women as objects. So she does work in that space, and this story particularly is about Fair and Lovely changing its name.
Yes. And going forward, it is Swachh Marathon.
So hashtag Swachh Marathon is by Shweta Samota. She's a marathon runner, and she noticed that during a marathon that was organized, men were openly peeing,
Oh.
and women were very uncomfortable. And she raised a petition there saying we need to have better toilets and we need to stop men from peeing openly. So small changes, but they can create a huge impact, right?
Literally, I mean.
Yeah, so there's a lot of awareness around this, and this practice is kind of curbed right now. Yeah.
Great. The next hashtag is periods pe charcha.
This is one of my favorites again. This is about a girl who calls herself the misfit changemaker. In fact, that's the title of her story. She is from an upper caste Brahmin family, and she's literally working in the interiors of villages in Jharkhand to create awareness on periods. And it is really about her internal struggle of whether she should be doing this work. And it's a lot of stereotypes and prejudices that she needs to face internally for her to be able to break the prejudice on periods on the outside. So that's what this is about.
Impactful, I mean. So the next one is hashtag clean the mess.
Right. This one is by a lady called Seema Mishra. There is a kachre ka pahad in a place called Ghaziabad. Okay, near Delhi. And apparently it was also featured on BBC because this kachre ka pahad was as big as Qutub Minar. It's a dumping ground. And people are dying because of all the poisonous gases that are being produced out of this mess. And Seema realized that she lives in this urban place, but there are people dying and there is foul smell and this is not okay. So she started a petition and she got a lot of signatures through her Change.org campaign, and Gautam Gambhir, who was a minister then, said, yes, we're going to clean this mess.
Wow.
And now there's a lot of work that's happening to systematically clean up that place.
Okay, the next is protect our kids.
Protect Our Kids is a petition by Neha Sharmal, and Neha is somebody who came from a very protective environment. So that journey to now standing up and saying make self-defense compulsory for schools in Maharashtra, she's done a phenomenal job in the self-defense space. So her petition was asking the government of Maharashtra to make self-defense compulsory for school kids. And there's some phenomenal work that she's done there.
Good. I mean, great initiative because it is actually really important for them.
Yes.
And then hashtag passport reforms.
Right. This is by Priyanka Gupta, and Priyanka is a lady who has had a beautiful journey full of bravery and courage. She struggled in her marital life, and when her daughter grew up and she wanted to go abroad, she wanted to make a passport. And she realized that passport के लिए दोनों parents का नाम ज़रूरी होता है, और उसका passport नहीं बन रहा था. So at her age, and I think she was 50 plus at that time, she said that I'm going to start a campaign. And she didn't know much about social media, but she had this jazba. Ki why should my daughter not go abroad? Where do I get the signature from if the father is not there? So she started this petition on Change.org asking this reform that single parents should be allowed to create a passport for their kids. And after a lot of struggle, Sushma Swaraj, who was then alive, said yes, this is possible. So today a single parent can create a passport for their kids thanks to Priyanka Gupta, who's a part of this book.
So the next one is hashtag maternity bill.
So if you Google a name called Jinsi Verghese, you will realize that she's very popular. She's a part of this book, a regular IT employee with no activism background. She got pregnant and she realized that she was going to get only 3 months of maternity leave. And she said the doctors say that breastfeeding is needed or necessary for 6 months. How can I go back to work in 3 months? ये तो गलत है, ये policy गलत है. And that is where she started a campaign again on Change.org, asking the Ministry of Women and Child Development to change this policy and change it from 3 months to 6 months. It was a long battle. Her son was born in the process, but she didn't give up. And Menka Gandhi came back and she changed the policy. So today the maternity leave is 6 months, thanks to Jinsi, who's a part of this book.
So the last one is hashtag end FGM.
Right. So this is a very difficult, painful practice that is carried on by a certain community called the Bora community. And this is a practice where some families decide to actually circumcise the female genital. And it's called female genital mutilation. Okay, and there's a lady called Masuma Rinalvi who suffered with it, and girls suffer through this. And she started a campaign when she was again in her 50s, realized that her own daughter didn't go through it and nobody should go through it. It's a very painful process for women. And she started a campaign asking the government to put a ban on this practice.
Oh.
Yeah.
So now coming back to you, there are 2 hashtags I think you have written those stories. Can you just
Right.
tell about this?
Right. So I've been very inspired with bringing about change as far as gender stereotypes is concerned. So as a change maker, that is my core mudda, because I told you my story. I come from a very patriarchal, gender stereotypical background. So one of the campaigns that I had online was hashtag make Chutki stronger. There's a character called Chutki, very gender stereotypical. She wears this pink frock and has a pink blush on with 2 chotis, and her mother says don't climb trees, and she's making laddus for Bhim. So my petition was asking the makers of Chhota Bhim to create a Chutki TV show, give Chutki her own TV show, and stop gender stereotyping. I'll tell you why. Because there are only superheroes in the male cartoons TV space. You
Right.
won't find girl superheroes, especially in the Indian cartoon
Right.
space.
I know a Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah, but in the Indian space,
Yes.
you will find Doraemon, you will find Bhim, Krishna, but you will not find a woman superhero.
Okay.
And Chhota Bhim as a
And I am
cartoon.
surprised, sorry
Yeah.
to cut you, I have not seen any cartoons over this Draupadi or any other fictional characters.
Yeah, none at all. Why? And if you look at Chhota Bhim, it has a reach of more than 40 million, not just in tier 1, but tier 2, tier 3 cities and even villages. So I started a campaign. Within 2 weeks, I got more than 10,000 signatures. Times of India and Bangalore Times covered this on the front page on Women's Day because they related with the cause. And Rajiv Chilka, who is the founder of Chhota Bhim, came back and said, yes, they're going to make the Chutki TV show. Rajiv, if you're listening to this, we're still waiting for the Chutki show to happen.
Okay. And what about Papa Pampers 2?
Right, so this is like you can see the word Pampers, this is related to diapers.
Diapers.
Now. Pampers has a monopoly with diapers, and if you look at diapers on any supermarket racks, आपको बच्चे और माँ की फोटो दिखाई देगी
Right.
हमेशा. In fact, Pampers has a YouTube channel which is tutorials on how to change diapers, and there are only mommies featuring on it. My point is, don't daddies change diapers?
Of course. They
And
do.
if they don't, can they not change diapers? Because Papa Pampers too, right? So my petition is asking Pampers to change the packaging and put the father and the mother's image on the diaper packaging for at least one of their products in 10 countries. We're still talking to them, and I hope this change happens someday.
I mean, all the very best to you because I have changed diapers for my kid.
Right? See, no credibility. We still say, mommy changes diapers.
Yeah.
It may seem silly because it's a small change, but it's huge. It's magnificent. Why? Because when you see the narrative change on supermarket racks everywhere around the world, the mindset changes.
Of course. It will actually trigger fathers to actually help their, partners.
Yeah, it's about inclusive parenting. So, yeah, that's what the book is about.
I'm really, happy about and proud also about the kind of writing and the thought you had because everyone has contributed their journeys through it. And guys, please read this book. The name of this book is Changemakers, and it is co-authored by Almas Virani and Sweta Samuta, forwarded by Tapsi Pannu. And I'm really glad that we had this in our point of view segment today. थैंक यू सो मच अलमास. और जैसे आपने बोला कि वॉइस दिल से आनी चाहिए, तो मैं दिल से बता रहा हूँ कि आई नेवर थॉट कि व्हेन वी स्टार्टेड वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट पब्लिक स्पीकिंग एंड
Right.
एक्चुअली देन वी वेंट थ्रू their inner thoughts, what they actually wanted to convey to this masses, and that is also a art of public speaking. Actually, book is also a form of public speaking.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming over.
Thank you, Tushar, and you're a change maker too. You're inspiring so many people through the people that you bring on the show, and I'm honored, humbled, grateful that you've invited me to the show. Thank you so much.